Thank you. Questions? Anyone wish to speak to the recommendations directly? No? We'll put, Councillor Lee.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a growing problem, which is not news for anyone, and an ultimate solution does not yet to be in sight. Part of the problem in terms of the inner city, which I can talk about, was that the night shelter, which had been operating for many years, was closed a couple of years ago and demolished. And the people who used it had little alternative to go to. And of course those people have been growing in number. Auckland is the only city, I understand, in New Zealand, major city, that does not have a night shelter. Most cities around the world have them, just as Auckland did have one. And so it seems to me that while we can spend quite a lot of money on OPEX, we do really also need to focus with the government and with the other agencies on CAPEX, on providing a roof over these people's heads like there was before, at least. And the way things are going, there'll be more to look after. So I think we have to be very careful in terms of programs that, well meant as they are and humane as they are, that we are not inadvertently normalising homelessness. Homelessness should not be tolerated in terms of our role and our leadership position. It is a moral blight, and we need to work very hard to tackle the problem at core. It's a huge problem, but the one aspect I think we should focus on is actually getting a roof over these people's heads so that they don't have to sleep in the street. It's a simple goal. It may be hard to achieve, but I think when this organisation is talking about thousands and thousands of new buildings in Auckland, I think we need to also realise that Band-Aids are not going to solve this problem, that we need to think about how these people are actually physically housed until they can move on and get permanent housing. I'll just make that point. Thank you.
I'm sure that will be discussed, Councillor Casey, at your committee by the people who work directly with homeless, who have some slightly different ideas about that. So I'll put the recommendations. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against? Carried. Thank you. And thank you, Councillor Casey, for your ongoing leadership in this area. It's awesome. Moving on to, and thank you, team. Ryan, appreciate your awesome work as well. Item number 18, fluoridation. Now we've got, members, we've got three, yep, 1, 2, 3 submissions, which I'm going to suggest we do 18, 19 and 20. They are retrospective, and sadly this kind of thing happens with the time frame that we're given, and when the government puts out consultation over Christmas and there's no one here, we actually have to get together and at least get a council voice. So not best practice, not everyone included, humble apologies, but we needed to have a say. So we've got Megan and John here. I think Megan, fluoridation, John, the other two. I'm going to move that these three be accepted retrospectively, seconded by Councillor Clow as a clump. Any questions? Councillor Casey.
Well, it talks about the attached submission, which isn't. So
the addendum.
So we
so
have.
I take it everybody except me then has read it because it's online. Is that right?
They were circulated, so they're part of the agenda, and I think they have been circulated separately as well. So they've had a few rounds trying to sort of catch people over the last few weeks. Okay, anyone else wish to? Councillor Darby and Councillor Walker.
Thanks. Just on the electric vehicles consideration, there's some good points that Auckland Transport make there, and maybe members haven't got to read that because it is pretty dense, some of those addendums there that's accepted. But it's very interesting looking at the request for some feedback there from local government and other agencies by government, but it actually fails to define at the very outset what an electric vehicle is. So it sort of says to you, oh, what sort of base are they coming off? They don't understand the difference between an electric vehicle or a plug-in electric vehicle, and there's a vast difference, and I hope they are talking about the former category.
Point of order, this might be the next item.
It's
we're
bundled.
doing all three of them together. Yep,
It's
they're bundled, so we're taking questions of
I'll still
clarification.
second it.
Okay, yep, you're happy to second. I guess the issue, councillors, is we can clarify, but they've gone, so,
They have gone,
you know.
but it's,
they've
I'm
gone.
just speaking to the bundle, okay?
Fair enough.
And I just note that Auckland Transport have smartly pointed out to government that allowing electric vehicles, that's truly 100% electric vehicles, not just plug-in electric vehicles, would be problematic, accommodating them in special purpose lanes, that is bus lanes and HOV lanes. We've already got bus lanes that are congested. We've already got some HOV lanes that are already congested. And to put plug-in electric vehicles, that is the hybrid version, and some of those are actually not that efficient. To put those in special vehicle lanes is asking for a really big problem for Auckland. And it appears that they have failed to distinguish between electric vehicles and the other. And when you put a plug-in electric vehicle or an electric vehicle in a bus lane, it is near impossible for any enforcement officer to identify the difference between an electric vehicle going up there or any other sedan car that is in private ownership. But the one thing that this submission didn't pick up, the most sought after electric vehicle in New Zealand today is the electric bike. In 2014, 2,900 brand new electric bikes were sold, and I've just had the figures in for 2015 to the end of December, exactly 10,000 electric bikes were sold, more than 300% increase. Compare that with the number of electric vehicles, pure electric vehicles, which is, it's an absolute smidgen number of electric vehicle cars compared with electric bikes. And I've told this committee before, there's an e-bike revolution happening. It is happening. And when it comes to electric charging stations, which this submission talks about, it forgets entirely about the requirement to consider electric charging stations for electric bikes. This year, we'll probably do, somewhere between 15 and 18,000 electric bikes in New Zealand. It's a runaway revolution, and we're not getting to grips with it.
You are singing to the choir of Casey and Pulse on this one. Hands up, anyone who e-biked here today? Yep. So, good point, Councillor, and we can amplify that when we go and present our submission. Councillor Walker.
Sure. Can I have my vote recorded against one of the bundle, which is the fluoridation amendment bill?
You absolutely can.
I can appreciate it's gone, but...
Yep. No, happy to record that. Member Brown.
So administratively, and I think you're aware, Madam Chair, but certainly officials are, we're going to choose a position of abstaining for the next three matters insofar as not yet having the opportunity to comprehend the reports. So just to stress administratively, insofar as looking forward to reading them and digesting them. Kia ora.
Thank you, and it's appreciated, and I think at a personal level, the acknowledgement that not great process to do things quickly over the holidays, IMSB not included, as not councillors, as not local board. Can we feed that back to central government? Please don't consult us over the Christmas holidays. It simply doesn't work. So kia ora and thank you. Member Wilcox.
Yeah, just a minor technical point further to Mr. Brown, and basically it's we had a process where there's a template that says tēnā koe e te rangatira or e te minute or whoever that goes on our submissions, and we've used that template now for yonks. I just wonder why we didn't use that template as opposed to just using the hello or thank you for allowing us to talk. And I know it was done kind of roughly and quickly, but I know that template does exist, and we have used that for quite a while. Either use the template or ask for a mihi to be placed on our submission. I mean, I just want us to get up to best practices. There's only 2 Polynesian cities. Auckland is one and Honolulu is the other, and I know everything that comes out of the government of Honolulu always says aloha at the start.
Well, thank you.
Noted. Councillor Lee.
Madam Chair, may I speak to the fluoridation of drinking water item?
Yes, acknowledging that the submission has been sent, Councillor.
It's been sent, but so I'll get onto that, but I just want to make the point that I oppose this. The people of New Zealand has been part of our political tradition that local communities who pay for water infrastructure through their rates have some say-so on what goes in their water. And a case in point is the old borough of Onehunga, one of the oldest parts of Auckland. Whenever that community has been asked, they have voted decisively against the addition of fluoride in their water supply. And what I'm concerned about is that they not only lose that right, but are likely, given government attitudes, to have fluoride imposed on them. Both in terms of process and in terms of what is likely to happen, I must record my vote against the submission, which I can only assume supports the divestment of the rights of the local community to government bureaucrats and health boards, which are dominated by ministerial appointments. Thank you.
Okay, votes recorded. Done. Any other comments? I'll put those 3. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Against?
No.
Carried, and those are noted for that item. Thank you.
And myself.
And abstention
Yes,
for
thank you.
those. Yep, I think for the 3, hey? Yep.